Thank you for watching my presentation about Prince making his negotiation with Warner Brothers Music. My name is Bianca Jones, and I'm a master's candidate at Full Sail University, pursuing a degree in entertainment business. During his 2004 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame speech, Prince said, "When I first started out in the music industry, I was most concerned with freedom. Freedom to produce, freedom to play all instruments on my records, freedom to say anything I wanted to." Prince signed to Warner Brothers Records in 1978 and resigned in 1996. Throughout his entire career, Prince battled against Warner Brothers to have control and autonomy over his music. The problem was that Prince felt he was being restricted within his artistry because of the contract he had signed. Because of this, he went public about his disdain and took drastic measures to express his discontent. Prince was negotiating the rights to his music catalog. His lengthy protest created a pivotal moment and shared insight into the recording and entertainment industry for upcoming artists in the world. Prince was interested in having creative and artistic freedom. He wanted ownership of his masters and to collect a fair amount of the royalties for his music. Prince also wanted to be able to record and release music whenever he wanted. He said that he wanted to release music as it came to him instead of waiting to release another album when he had permission. Prince felt like Warner Brothers owned his name and his identity, but he had done all the hard work and created the finished product. Warner Brothers did not want Prince to oversaturate the market. Controlling how often Prince was able to make music and having input on how he created music allowed Warner Brothers to control the amount of money spent on Prince's music. If he could make music whenever he wanted, that could become very expensive for the label, especially if the album sales were unsuccessful. Warner Brothers' bargaining position in 1992 was a contract with the label that allowed for a $10 million advance per album, 25% of royalties, and 6 albums recorded. This contract was between Paisley Park Records and Warner Brothers, and at the time it was one of the most significant contracts written. Prince was still not satisfied. Prince's bargaining position was to acquire complete ownership of all the recordings he recorded with Warner Brothers, and to control when he could release and distribute music. Prince knew he had leverage over the record label due to his commercial success and loyal fan base, so he advocated for creative rights and full ownership. Prince's increasing popularity and artistic influence gave him more leverage, enhancing his negotiation power. One concept that played a role in this negotiation was a BATNA, best alternative to a negotiated agreement. The 1976 Copyright Act was established to help musicians reclaim their masters after the 35-year term on the copywriters expired. And the act officially took place in 1978, and many high-profile artists who had recorded music in the 1970s began to file termination notices about their master's recordings in 2013. Prince was signed to Warner Brothers in 1978 and would have been a part of the new wave of artists that could file for their master's recordings. Warner Brothers giving Prince ownership of his masters was a BATNA for Warner Brothers. Had they not, it could have become a costly and complicated legal battle for both parties as each album became eligible for copyright termination. Another concept that played a significant role in this deal was mutual gain. It was to the advantage of Warner Brothers to meet the demands of Prince as one of their most famous musicians, who would only give up the fight for full ownership once he won. It was good publicity for Warner Brothers and Prince to reach this agreement. It benefited Warner Brothers to have a standing contract with one of the most famous musicians at the time. It benefited Prince because now he had control over what he wanted and ownership of his own music. It was also beneficial because Prince had been jumping from different record labels but was still unsatisfied. He would be able to move more easily and distribute his music with the creativity and ownership that he always wanted. This agreement came with the backing of one of the most influential record labels in the entertainment industry and the ability to work with industry leaders that Prince had known since the beginning of his entertainment career. Bargaining styles were also used throughout this negotiation. Prince had an aggressive bargaining style and was willing to take any measures to obtain ownership over what he felt rightfully belonged to him. He felt that Warner Brothers owned his name, his literal birth name, and his identity because they owned the music he created that brought them financial success. Warner Brothers was also assertive by offering him a record deal that they thought would satisfy him, worth $100 million at the time. For Prince, it was more about freedom and ownership than anything else. In addition, negative emotions played a significant role in this negotiation. Prince was frustrated because his demands were being ignored and pacified by contracts with offers that did not include ownership. He expressed his negative emotions to leadership and Warner Brothers, and he expressed that he wanted control over his distribution, but his requests were unmet. He felt disrespected and controlled. These negative emotions were finally combated when both parties were able to come to an agreement. When Prince and Warner Brothers settled an agreement in 2014, both parties reconciled and cooperated to reach a mutual benefit. After the agreement, Warner Brothers Records chairman and CEO Cameron Strang stated, "Everyone at Warner Brothers Records is delighted to be working with Prince once again. He is one of the world's biggest stars and a unique talent. We are also very excited about the release of new and remastered music from one of our greatest masterpieces." Later in 2014, Prince told FX, "It is just a business relationship, clean and transparent. And I got my stuff back." Later on, about record labels, Prince said, "They're outmoded. Why do they get to take your work and take a piece of that? What are they bringing to the table? I'm not mad. They're not bad people. I know some of them for more than half of my life, but the system is old and it doesn't work anymore. It's the past." What went well in this negotiation process was Prince's ability to leverage his popularity and influence in the music industry and popular culture. He was a symbol of many sorts and could use that argument to his advantage to obtain ownership of his music. If Warner Brothers wanted to be able to do business with Prince again, they knew they would have to offer him the thing he wanted the most because of his name, his willingness to speak out against his treatment, and because of the measures that he had gone through to distribute his music independently. Something else that came from this negotiation was the creation of the love symbol. Prince renamed and rebranded himself with this symbol as a way to have control over his music and distribution. Ultimately, it became a timeless symbol still associated with Prince and his brand. In addition, because of this negotiation, Prince was also able to have his music remastered and re-released for the 30th anniversary of Purple Rain album. Given Prince's caliber of musicianship, Purple Rain was one of the only high-selling albums yet to be polished and released. Most importantly, fans were able to have access to Prince's music again. He was able to reassure his fans that they would be able to access the music of Prince. What went wrong was the exact terms of ownership and future rights within the contract provided to Prince. Different priorities between Prince and Warner Brothers also created problems as Prince felt restricted, which caused him to speak out and protest what he felt was rightfully his. This battle went on from the early 1990s into the first 2 decades of the 21st century, lasting nearly 20 years. Because Prince left the record label, he had to overcome many challenges releasing his new music independently. In addition, he filed complaints against people and organizations and pulled his music from different streaming platforms, which stopped fans from accessing his music. An agreement was reached where Prince gained ownership of his masters after his contract expired in 2013. This agreement was reached in 2014. Prince's relationship with Warner Brothers was reestablished as he regained his creative rights and could foster more long-term meaningful relationships had Prince not died in 2016. This negotiation was monumental in the entertainment industry and was an example of resistance and the changing times within the music and entertainment industry. Prince's idea of complete ownership was uncommon and not at the forefront of most negotiations made by artists of the past, even the highest selling musicians. Prince's fight for ownership showed other artists and the world the importance of ownership and the creative rights of individuals' work over money and other industry offerings. Thank you for watching my presentation. Long live Prince.